basic care knowledge that any horse owner should have?
Well, just in terms of care, obviously the basics of, super basics of scratches, not scratches, but like a scratch or a scrape,
right.
How to treat that. Yeah, first aid, exactly. All basic first aid, of course.
How to check a pulse,
yes,
resting
and
heart
then
rate.
Go a little, if you want to even say a little deeper, I feel like that's very important to know. But
sure.
For some, I think they have like their first aid, and then kind of above that, or moving up in levels, is maybe checking heart rates, pulse, things like that, breathing. Yep. And then you always have a vet lined up, a vet that you use regularly, and even a backup emergency vet, and
or two.
That's something that a boarding facility should always have, in my opinion, which they do here, which has come in handy, unfortunately, but fortunately, right? So having a vet. Little side note: when I got my place, I didn't have a vet that I knew that was coming to Statesville, so I had to find one. And I had called them, and I had them come out for generally nothing, just to establish a relationship with that vet.
That's smart.
That is a good
idea. Something happens, I'm not making an emergency vet, or I'm not needing an emergency vet visit for a vet that doesn't know me.
Absolutely.
Well, most won't come out if you're not already an established client. They will not come out for an emergency vet.
That I think is exactly what I heard, which is what I'm like. All right, come out, and I think I had them float my horse's teeth, which they needed it, but I could have probably waited, but I really wanted as soon as possible to have that person, and you never know what's going to happen. So having a vet established, but just basics, I think, and what to look for. In your horse, distress signals or signs.
Yep.
Know your horse, right?
Yeah.
Get to know your horse.
Temperature.
Right.
Temperature.
You know,
Thank you.
what's normal.
Right.
And to your point with the vet, a reputable, established farrier.
Yes.
You know, it's very important.
Yes.
If you're new to horses in general, a reputable, established trainer. And I say, I'm emphasizing reputable and established because there are a lot of options in every department. And with a vet, you have, your diploma and your certification. With being a farrier or a trainer or the like, it's very easy to say, well, yeah, I apprenticed under so-and-so. And really, you just have a rasp. and that's fine if that's what you want to do. Good for you. And I'm a trainer because I've always worked with horses. Again, good for you. But, in my humble opinion, but to take the time and become a farrier that is trusted, that is well known, that is educated, to take the time to get the knowledge and to be certified and to continue your education on both fronts.
That's key. I
right?
think you're both open
is
to continue
vital.
learning. Right.
So you ask around, you ask the equestrian community, who do you use? Who do you trust? Why do you like them? You meet them. Right. And if, you ask them questions, you interact. If they're not open to your 10,002 questions, thank you, then maybe they're not the right farrier for you. That's okay. Move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Right. I think.
Yeah, there's always the right fit out there for anyone and
everybody.
Any professional.
Sure. Yeah.
I think those people really become your tribe. Because
Yes.
you have your tribe that's at your herd, we'll say, that's at your farm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they have to be the right people. They have to be supportive. Everyone has to merge together, and we know how barn dynamics can be.
Yes.
But having that healthy, supportive herd at your farm, and then the outer circle of having that healthy support of professionals
Absolutely.
is because people do call me for all sorts of things.
Sure.
I'm sure they call Lauren too. And it's like, we are not vets.
Yep.
I still say that.
I
you
definitely,
do too. I've heard you say that.
Yeah, definitely not a vet.
Yeah. This is my
but
experience.
this might be your suggestion.
Correct.
Or like I had a client call me on the way here. She thinks her horse may have broken her leg and can't get a hold of a vet, and so it was one of those. It was, you're not established with anybody else.
Yeah.
Call this person, this person, this person,
Right.
and see what that will look like. But that becomes, again, your tribe of, you see these people regularly.
Yep.
I know all of my horses.
Yep.
But I only see them once a month.
Yep.
And so I may see something in question, not to pick apart a horse,
No.
but to say, okay, I don't remember this bump.
And you've done that with Chief.
This
Yeah.
trait, or this movement is different.
Yep.
Right.
And then that broadens your visibility to it, and it may
Sure.
not be anything.
Right.
But we become part of the tribe, but it's that extended tribe of support.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And care. I think.
Yep.
For example, if you didn't care as much as you do, then you might not notice those little things.
Yeah.
Like, I know on Wyatt, you noticed he was off in the back. He's can't remember
His
what.
balance is
Yeah, his
off.
balance. Thank you. His balance was off, and I'm like, what? What in the world? You know, from one trim to the next, and that's maybe 6 weeks at that point. You know, you remember those things, and I know you've worked with us for quite a while, but I think the care behind your professional that you choose is important.
Absolutely.
Because there could be some that come out and really quickly, and they trim your horse, shoe your horse, and move on.
Yep.
And
Check, bye.
Yep, exactly. And they don't really, not that you have to have someone that's chatty or
No.
asking you about your life, but the care in their profession even.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. It's important.
Yeah.
For sure. Good question.
So I definitely think that first aid piece is paramount.
Yep.
I personally would say an understanding or appreciation of horse dynamics or horse language.
Yes.
Because
Herd
we know
mentality.
There's so much nonverbal communication that goes on.
Yeah.
It can be really intimidating or unknown for so many.
Yep.
I almost, in a sense, look in awe at these people who go and buy horses and have them at their house, and they know nothing short of that's a horse. I look at that and I'm like, that's amazing. I don't necessarily know as if I would have the courage to do it, but I've been with horses my entire life.
Right.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
So there
That's
is that
exactly,
little bit of courage where it's like, hey, kudos, because I don't think I could do that.
Right.
But you know what you know, so
Exactly.
then thinking of someone that doesn't know, then they have no idea. They're like, oh, this is great. I have a pasture. Let me throw a horse in there.
Well, honestly, that was us.
Well, and a lot of people do it, and then they either
Yeah.
learn or they don't learn. And
No, it was
guys-
crazy. 15, 18, I don't know how old I am, whatever. Years ago, we moved back to the farm. We had a friend that wanted to put her horse here. She couldn't keep him where he was. Sure, we had the space, why not? Fenced off a pasture. Well, the horse can't be alone, that's ridiculous. We bought a horse, and then that horse left, so we got another horse. And on, and you learn as you go, and that's great. With a dog, not so great with a horse. And I had been following Joyce Lewis, who I just thought was amazing. And she posted something looking for an intern. It was an internship. And I went, I have to go work with this woman. I have to. And it was about an hour and something-ish away, like Siler City, not close. And I talked to Mark and I said, yes, I've ridden my whole life, but I don't have the knowledge I need to have to be a responsible horse owner. And I think this woman is it. And he went, oh, do it. So I did. So I drove an hour every day and I worked with her all day, and it was completely foreign. It was like learning to speak Chinese.
Yeah.
And then I drove home for an hour crying because I was too stupid to own the horses that I owned and was just in danger. Like, I remember coming home the first day crying, we should sell these horses. Like, we should not own horses. You're morons, right? And he went, what? We had a talk, and I calmed the heck down, and, I got to get ready for bed. I got to go back in the morning. He's like, you're going back?
Well, it's overwhelming.
Yeah, well, and that's exactly
and
it.
I think that's what you felt, was the
Totally.
overwhelming.
And I went back day after day after day. The woman's now one of my dearest friends, and I just am so grateful for her taking me under her wing and saying, okay, you're stupid. Let me do it. Not literally.
You just don't know.
But I didn't know. And I've got, 2 1,500-pound puppy dogs in my backyard that we're just riding, and the farrier that's not educating. And then the next one that came in, because he just wasn't that great, and goes, well, your horse has white line. Well, what's white line? Right. And I'm learning what that is. But you don't want to learn that because you bought a horse with it,
Right.
ideally. But to have the knowledge ahead of time, if possible, for someone watching this that already has the horse, you have the horse, great, learn now.
Yep. Keep learning.
Go where you're at, do what you need to do. But yeah, I totally was that person. And I did it wrong.
I think one of the things that took me a while to grasp, and I kind of put terms to it, was my horse's love language isn't mine, right? So, Gary Chapman's 5 love languages for people. And it was determining that in order to show my horse that I love him, I need to earn his respect and his trust. How do I do that? Moving his feet, getting control of them, the different exercises, the different leadership roles and partnership, because at times it's kind of a give and take. I think that was like a great discovery for me. Is I was able to articulate it in a way that I better understood it. And, my love and what I need from him, but I've got to give that love first and get that respect and that trust, and that gives him, that's his love language. So
I sometimes think that's one of the hardest things about, especially with maybe someone new to horses buying their horse for the first time, or just in general, you want to love your horse and you want your horse to love you back so badly.
Yes.
That it doesn't seem to work, and then you end up butting heads. Your horse runs from you in the pasture. Well, they don't feel like you are their leader. And without that, they don't love you, if you will.
Yeah.
Duchess and Wyatt are a great example. Wyatt is a pest to Duchess and all the other horses. and Duchess corrects him every time. She will kick at him. I don't see her bite too much. Doesn't matter. She corrects him, puts him in his place, and says, hey, I'm in charge. Don't mess around. And he loves her so much. He wants to be with her more when she corrects him, it seems like. You take her out of the pasture and he's just lost. And I think that's an example I use with a lot of my clients, is you getting after your horse or correcting them, whatever terminology you want to use, is not you hurting your horse. And that doesn't mean they're going to not want to be with you. Maybe in that moment, but as long as you have the correct timing, pressure release, etc., you are building that relationship. So I like how you put it in love languages. You want to love your horse and rub on them and give them cookies, and if you do that too much, they just look at you like a vending machine. They're like, oh hey, you have the treats, right? And then you come out and you don't have treats, and you just want to ride your horse that day, and they're going to be like, nope.
Or worse, get aggressive.
Or worse, exactly.
Well, I think so many people, and this is in a human standpoint and a horse standpoint, but food equates to love. So you have those obese horses, or you have those snack aggressive horses, or you have the ones that are always looking and biting and unhealthy, which is, in my opinion, worse than an emaciated horse, because their systems are just as compromised as the thin horse, and yet this is something that perhaps we've done to them. Now, not in not all circumstances, but the constantly giving of food to show your love or earn your love, that's not earning the love. It's just reiterating that you're a pushover, and your horse doesn't respect you, and you have no boundaries.
Especially in the horse's mind. That's not how they show love to each other. They don't go and grab food and bring it to their friend and say, here. Right?
She would eat it.
And say, move.
That's my food. You better move. And they will move oftentimes. And then they're buddies, and they might share, right? So it's not, you're never going to earn a horse's love or earn anything from them by feeding them treats, etc.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk a lot about that with the grounded horsemanship when you first come into a program. So I just had 2 new women start, and we had to discuss all of that, how to correct, when to correct, timing, feel, all of that, getting the horse to join up with you and be with you and all of that, how to halter, how to take the halter off. Well, when you take the halter off, 9.99999 times out of 10, that horse stands there like, now what are we doing? They don't take off and go run to be with their buddies. If you've done your job, you've earned their respect, they want to be with you because you just showed them, I can guide you, I can lead you, I can walk you through fire, I've got you. And they're not going and looking for their herd, they're standing there for 10 minutes sometimes, and the women are just baffled, like, he didn't even want me to catch him this morning? Right, but then you showed him in the session, and now he wants to be with you.